Well, hey, I see you caught up with me. First of all, let me tell you, it's hot out here, okay? It's like 90 degrees. Now, in my shade pod, it's probably 75 degrees and a breeze coming off the water. But out there, it's just hot as crap. Now, someone asked to see my setup, and I'll be happy to do that. But just keep in mind, this is not glamping. Glamping is what I did the second and third year I camped. That entailed a 3-room tent, a shower setup, a big screen tent. Okay, after putting all of that up 2 or 3 times for 3 different trips, it was just too much. So at that point, I rented a spot for the entire summer. So all I had to do was just go up there, unzip, and I was good. But glamping for a solo camper is a hell of a lot of work. So I am no longer a glamper. What I am is a basic camper, but still manage to have some of the comfort things I had when I was glamping. And I get them in the form of tents that are easy to set up and don't weigh a lot. So I just wanted to keep that in mind, because if you're expecting a fabulous setup, you're going to truly be disappointed. What you're going to see is a black woman who camps, who still wants some creature comforts, but is also realistic about how much she can do herself, because unless you're going to spend 2 hours putting up a glamping setup, and trust me, that's a lot of work, just having some creature comforts on a smaller basis is ideal. So once I get camp completely set up, all the tents are up, I just have to put everything in. Then I'm going to come back and give you my 5 or 6 tips of what it takes to be a successful solo female camper. I'm going to take a shower, and let me tell you something. Having a shower tent, and I've had one, I guess, for 10 years, is a game changer. Because if you camp and you've gone to a bathhouse, it doesn't matter how nice it is. The point of the matter is you have to stand in line to take a shower, and 9 times out of 10, you have to walk across the campground or drive across the campground just to use the potty. So having a shower tent is not sexy. And some people would even say, ew, but it's a hell of a lot better than not taking a shower at all, or getting in line, or having to walk across a dark campground because you have to pee at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. So after I get set up, I'll show you everything. We'll do the tips. I'm going to take a shower. Then I'm going to invite you to dinner. A lot of times I do prep at home, but it's still a good meal. So let me loaf a bit, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Looks like I may have to eat without you because I'm running out of daylight. But what I have is peppered chicken, Brussels sprouts that I did in the air fryer, and white rice. So if I'm going to get these tips done, I'm going to need to let this sit here and heat up over the coals. And we need to keep this moving because dark waits for no one. As you can see, it's getting dark. So yeah, I ran out of time, but it was just way too hot to be doing a whole lot of anything. I waited until, you know, later on in the evening to finish out everything I had to do and take my shower and do the video you just saw about my setup. So we probably need to get this done. Right now my food's still warming up over the coals, so it'll be fine while we do this. I think I have 6 or 7 tips, and they're pretty simple, but they work for me. The first tip is Google. I wrote down a list of things I thought I might need camping. And then I Googled, what do you need camping? And I was 95% right. So for me, that meant that maybe I had enough common sense to actually camp. Okay? Also, I learned how to build a fire from WikiHow. Okay, yeah, I watch videos on YouTube and stuff, but WikiHow gave me really good step-by-step directions on how to build a fire. And, you know, since then, I actually know how to build quite a few different fires, and I know how to start them in quite a few different ways. But, you know, back then, I didn't want to be the black person who burned down the campground. So, no, I didn't have a fire the first couple of trips. So, yeah, Google is your friend. Use it, okay? Number 2, where you camp. Choose a family-friendly campground. I know you have visions of being out in the wilderness and listening to the birds and watching the flowers, but I'm going to tell you something. When you first start camping, dark is dark, okay? Dark is dark. And all the sounds you never even thought you would hear, you're going to hear. Trust me, when you first start off like a beginner, because you are. Choose a family-friendly campground. Yeah, there are going to be some kids running around, you know, and it's not quite the ambience you thought you were looking for. But as far as if you need some help, because remember, you're new at this, or if something goes wrong, there are people around. And the people who own family-friendly campgrounds are used to people not quite sure about what they're doing. They have no problem, you know, coming and helping you with something. When I came here, my daughter and I were supposed to come together, and then she bailed. So I wasn't even sure I could get the tent up. I just told them the truth. Look, I'm black. I haven't camped since I was a Girl Scout, but I really want to come camping, and my vehicle is packed. Could somebody help me if I needed it? And she said, sure, come on out. And you know what? They were wonderful. They were wonderful. Now, that doesn't mean that you should, you know, buy gear that you don't know what you're doing. You know, but, you know, the first tent, and that brings me to the next thing. Your tent. Choose an easy tent. I mean, you can get all glampified later, but when you're first starting out, choose a easy tent. Mike Coleman is about the easiest tent on this side of God's green earth. And when you watch the YouTube videos, putting it down is not a problem that people say it is. You just have to watch the videos and practice, and you will fall in love with this tent. The next best tent is a dome tent. It only has 2 poles. Once you slide those 2 poles into their respective sleeves, tent stands up by itself. I mean, you still have to stake it down, but that's what makes it so easy, because the tent basically stands up by itself once you get the 2 poles in. And that's almost a foolproof way of having a tent. Now, I do not suggest the Insta-tents because they have mechanical workings. And anything mechanical, once it fails, it fails. If your Insta-tent fail, you might as well just put all your crap back in the car and go home. Whereas if your dome tent fails and you break a tent pole, you can duct tape that baby. Just like Mike Coleman, if I break a rib, all I have to do is stake it out. Yeah, it looks stupid, but it'll get me through this trip. And Insta-tent, it's just game over. So yeah, choose a family-friendly campground. They don't mind helping and answering questions. Choose a tent that's not going to be too complicated, um, because that's half the battle. The next thing I would say is shade. Um, Figure out what you're going to do for shade. Even if the place you go has trees, the sun moves, okay? And it also filters through the trees. You want a shade that you can adjust with the sun. I still say the Eagle Peak 18-pound backpacker solo camper easy up tent is the best tent for a solo camper. As long as you have reasonable upper body strength, it's a no-brainer. I just don't. But it's an excellent tent for a solo camper. You won't have any problem putting that shade shelter up by yourself. And it also has an extra panel attached to it. So when the sun moves on you, it's 18 pounds. Pick it up, twist it around, and you're good. The next best thing is my, what's the official word? Under the weather pod. This thing has been great. I absolutely am happy I bought this. Between the bug screening and the fact that it also has a solid panel, when the sun changed on me today, I just turned the whole thing around and I was good to go. That's what you need, something easy, something peasy, because you don't want to be struggling. I mean, it's already a new thing. You don't want to get all frustrated and stuff like that. Those chairs that have the little awning on them, absolutely worthless. Don't even waste your money on them, because the sun hits you from this direction, and this direction. It's only straight over top of you about 2 hours a day. It's worthless, so don't waste your money. So see, look, what do we talk about? We talk about Google. We talk about choosing a family-friendly campground. We talked about choosing an easy-to-put-up tent. We talked about getting shade that's easy and that will work no matter where the sun goes. I would say the next thing would be personal hygiene. Shower tents are the bomb. I don't even know what to tell you. They are the bomb. They now have rechargeable shower heads. You put the hose in a bucket of water, you push the button, and boom, you got a little handheld shower. They work great. The only problem is at some point they do fail. That's why I've been using my backpacker shower. You probably don't want to go that primitive, but I'm okay with that. But just the ability to take a shower after a long, hot, steamy day will do so much to make you feel human again. And the fact that you can pee anytime you want to. What else can I say? And it also gives you a place to change clothes, because your tent may not allow you to stand up. The shower tent will allow you to go in there and change your clothes. Let's see, the next thing I would say is food. Now, when I first started camping, I wouldn't even make a campfire at first. I cooked all my food on a steno stove. So I limited it to eggs and bacon and corned beef hash and hot dogs and beans. And then as time went on, I got myself a little butane stove and started cooking, other things. Next thing you know, I'm frying fish and making shrimp scampi, and I'm doing all this stuff that I no longer want to do because that's a lot of work. Okay. And after being outside all day in the heat, slaving over a campfire or even a camp stove is just more than I want to do. So in all honesty, I prepare mostly all my food at home and just bring it to camp and heat it up. I don't even care. Okay. All I know is camping is supposed to be relaxing, and I don't want to be stressed. I can't imagine if I had run out of time today and I still had to chop onions and chop potatoes or try to, do a steak. Being able to just heat up my food was just wonderful. So I think that's it, guys. I'm going to leave that here. I'm probably going to throw another, fake ass log on the fire because it's a nice night. I am staying another couple of nights. So probably I will make tomorrow a part 2 to this video. and we're going to eat some good food that I prepared at home and brought to camp. I'm even going to show you how I made one of those dishes at home and brought it to camp. So, you all take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.